How about Labor's lying campaign against the coalition's plan for 7 nuclear reactors? Lying that they will cost $600 billion, lying that they blacken the sky, if you look at this ad, lying that we can instead power our economy on unreliable wind and solar power. It'll work beautifully. Today, more than 50 Australian nuclear experts, electricity experts, scientists, former politicians and businessmen and so on signed a full-page ad in the big newspapers backing nuclear power and attacking Labor's lies about it and saying to Labor, no, we cannot run a whole electricity system of wind and solar, adding that the current energy policies of state and federal governments are setting us up for failure with unstable energy supply and higher prices because renewable energy is highly variable, unreliable and costly when considering total system costs. Now, I showed you actually yesterday the proof of that, the catastrophic results of having too much wind and solar in Spain and Portugal. On Monday, that caused a total shutdown of the whole electricity system. And experts say that is a warning to Australia.
You guys also have this problem in Australia because of the amount of solar that you have there. And AEMO's been doing quite a lot of work to try and see if they can use what they call grid-forming power electronics to try and resolve this problem, but that has been going really slowly, far more slowly than they hoped, and it's why the system operator there has to turn down solar and run gas, not because they need the energy, but they need to have this this technical capability to maintain the alternating current in a proper form.
Problem is, the more solar and wind you add to a system, the more unstable it is. It can't handle sudden breakdowns. The whole thing collapses. We saw that. But the Albanese government refuses to listen. From the Treasurer today, we got a total denial of a warning about all this on Sky yesterday from Dr. Paterson, who's former head of Australia's Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation, and also a denial of that full-page ad that Dr. Paterson also signed.
I haven't seen that particular letter, but I think the overwhelming weight of opinion recognises, as AEMO does, that the cheapest form of new power is renewable energy. One of the issues we've got with the grid right now is we've got some unreliable legacy parts of the grid which are putting upward pressure on prices. I think most observers, most analysts, most economists agree with the AEMO point of view. So I think that's the mainstream view.
Yes, what would a nuclear expert like Dr. Paterson know that Treasurer Jim Chalmers doesn't know better? Joining me is Dr. Paterson. Auntie Paterson, thank you so much for your time. That was Jim Chalmers dismissing you and your ad today as, look, you guys are all on some fringe, that renewables are the cheapest power, he says. Your response?
My response is that I would like to meet the experts that he's talking about, because none of them would be able to explain how the grid that he is claiming will work. We are on a road to failure. There's no doubt in my mind. We saw that in Spain just in the last 24 hours. What happens when an unstable wind plus solar grid runs into a problem of having too much? The whole thing falls over catastrophically, because there is no way that you can take dilute sources of power, individual wind turbines, individual panels, and add them up to the grid that we have today that makes our economy work. So I believe that the statements that were made by our Treasurer are essentially lies. I'm going to say that publicly now. We have been lied to by the senior politician who takes responsibility for our economy, and I'm prepared to face him in any debate or any expert that he claims to have, and have that debate in public at any time, because it is so dangerous what is happening to our grid that it is worth having the debate in public between experts, so that the experts can solve this problem, because every expert who is running the grid that we are trying to run in the way that we're trying to run it knows that it cannot be done. We saw it with Spain, and we will see it. In fact, we're already seeing it in Australia. The prices are going up in unpredictable ways. If the price was meant to be coming down, why is it going up? If it was meant to be minus 275, why is it plus 2750? So there's no explanation coming from the Treasurer. There's no credible person in the Department of Energy prepared to stand up behind this plan. And we need to see the experts that they're claiming that this is happening, and we need to debate with them in the public domain as to why they believe that they are right, but they are wrong. It's deeply dangerous, and it will damage our nation.
Well, I can lay you very good odds that you are not going to get the debate. You have a look at Energy Minister Chris Bowen. He's been hiding almost the entire election campaign. They're trying not to get him out in the public because then you'd have to explain why so many green policies have failed. It's not just the $275 cheaper bills, but of course all the hydrogen schemes that have been collapsing around the country that he said were essential to our global warming superpower status that he saw with clean energy. Now, the company that manages Spain's grid, just to back you up, I think, says it is most likely, that's what it said, most likely that huge blackout was linked to solar farms. Does that back up your ad, which was signed by nuclear scientists, the former head of the New South Wales Electricity Council, Jenny George, former president of the ACTU, Dick Smith, and many others?
Absolutely. The group that we assembled to do this work and the people behind it who have got the expertise to do this work model the grid at the 1 second to 1 year level in detail with real data based on the weather system that we have and the information that comes from AEMO. And so we have a very, very detailed model that we can run that shows exactly why this happened. We know that you cannot take a 40% resource 2 days out of 5 on average, which is wind, and make it 100% resource. If you've ever sailed a sailing boat on Sydney Harbour or a little dinghy in a dam, you will know that when the wind is not blowing, you cannot make that boat move forward. And when the wind is not blowing and it is not turning the blades of those turbines, no electricity is being produced. In fact, it's using about 15% of the electricity coming into it to keep those blades ready to turn when they're meant to turn.